With neighboring islands already battling the scourge of human trafficking, Grenada sought technical assistance through the Royal Grenada Police Force and immigration departments to protect its citizens. A workshop aimed at equipping local personnel with knowledge on human trafficking and how to identify possible indicators began today at Camp Salines. Addressing the commencement ceremony, Deputy Commissioner of Police Franklin Redhead indicated that the risk of potential occurrence within the region is at a greater degree.
And so it is important that we understand those realities. We understand how we can collaborate as states, as non-state actors, as entities, to ensure that we do what is right and important in the context of ensuring that we meet those challenges, but also not only meeting those challenges, but remain ahead of the game in terms of our plans and systems to confront those realities. One of the realities that we have to deal with is that we often treat the victims of human trafficking and human smuggling disproportionately to the persons who actually perpetuate that crime. And that is something that we need to bring greater sensitivity towards in terms of how do we transition this mindset in understanding the broad context of this as opposed to the single issue of the victim in terms of how we move forward.
A representative from the International Organization for Migration, German Grant, says the training will identify some countries' challenges, mechanisms, institutions, and response, which in the long term will serve as a model for Grenada.
It will be a very comprehensive yet short two-day training that will focus on some of the main areas and facets of human trafficking, being response, investigation, prosecution, victim support, reintegration, and importantly, knowing the red flags and the indicators. So when you see something, you can act, and the framework that currently exists, how to respond and what more needs to be done to strengthen the current framework legislatively, policy-wise, and institutionally to be as effective as possible on the question of human trafficking. And if someone looks vulnerable or there's some kind of suspicious activity, some of the red flags or indicators might raise awareness of making a report. But knowing a specific case is based on investigation, and that is not only critical for the person identifying a case of human trafficking, which could be a member of the public, but also persons that are part of the relevant institutions such as police, immigration, social protection, non-governmental organizations. Because when a case moves from a report to those institutions that have to respond, they need to know the indicators to know what to do. Importantly, to assess it to be trafficking and what are the next steps when it comes to dealing with the traffickers and supporting victims.
A baseline assessment was carried out in 2018 designed at building an effective response should possible cases of trafficking be cited. Findings from these assessments will be revealed over the next 2 days. Representative bodies at the workshop came from the Royal Grenada Police Force, Immigration Department, civil society and other stakeholders. Facilitators for the workshop came from the EU, Trinidad and Tobago, and the IOM, with grant funded provided by the European Union. Christina John, GBN.